are so excited. What a table we have here. This is the CBS Atlanta The Talk.
Yay!
And we've got our friend Sheryl Underwood here.
Yay!
So excited to have you here, Sheryl.
Yes, I'm glad to be here performing at Uptown Comedy Club. Haven't been here in a while. You know, I started Uptown when Earthquake owned it. And I got a shout out to everybody that remembers me and Bruce and Mike Washington over at 559. But me and Mike Washington are back at Uptown. So coming out, we got 2 shows tonight and 2 shows tomorrow.
I love it. And you have other things that you are passionate about.
Absolutely.
Which is why Dr. Steele's here. We're in Ballentine. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Okay. Oh, but don't forget also to watch the talk. Because that's my bread and butter job. And that's what funds everything. It funds the radio show. We're on in 451 affiliates. It also funds things that I want to do under my PAC Rat Foundation for Education. My sorority sister, Zeta Phi Beta Ern Fouché, is the executive director. Harry Sutherland, who's our favorite country lawyer on the radio show, Warren Valentine's on the radio show with me. He's an elected county commissioner. He works with me as well. And Mike Washington been on the road with me for 20 years. So it's really a family affair. But I could not bring forward the idea to drive souls to the polls and have the March for Jobs and Freedom 2020, a historical recreation of the 1963 March on Washington, if Dr. Steele would not have come on board to support and lead us.
Dr. Charles Steele, amazing. Thank you so much for all that you do at CLC.
Thank you.
You've really made a difference. Why are you guys doing this partnership?
Well, first of all, Sheryl is doing something, Ms. Underwood is doing something that couldn't have happened without her. I remember doing my studies in terms of A. Philip Randolph.
Yes.
You know, when he went, he went to FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, because A. Philip Randolph had a relationship with his wife, Eleanor. And he went to him and said, Mr. President, black folks, African Americans, Negroes need to be first-class citizens.
That's right.
And we're tired of going to the outhouses and the back doors and so. And he listened to him and he looked at him. He said, Philip, I agree with you, but do me a favor. Make me do it.
That's powerful.
Powerful.
And see, that's as far back as 1941. When you're talking about a mighty man of Phi Beta Sigma coming together with that vision and then bringing in Bayard Rustin, that's why we're working with the A. Philip Randolph Institute. President and CEO Cleola Brown is part of this coalition. And then we got Reverend Johnson, Derek Johnson from the NAACP is part of this coalition.
How do you get the NAACP and SCLC together in one room?
Sheryl Underwood. How can you say no?
Right.
She and I talked. She was in Memphis in some kind of way. Good friend of mine put us on the phone.
Sure did.
Alex.
At the affiliate, Alex Coleman.
Alex
At the
Coleman
Memphis affiliate.
put us together.
But this is why I want CBS to be a part of this, because it's my understanding that CBS was the only affiliate to record everything. So they have the documentation. We're already talking to Pat Harvey and DeMarco Morgan out in California. So I think we can come together as a family to do some good in the neighborhood. But also, I love my sisters on the talk. Eve, Carrie Ananaba, Marie Osmond, Sharon Osborne, everybody at the talk, they give me this zeal to want to do it. And my sunrise is Zeta Phi Beta, but Warren Valentine's my brother, Phi Beta Sigma.
Yes. And Warren, talk to us about, you've been with Sheryl for a long time. My dad was a Sigma, so I love you guys.
Your dad is...
My dad was a Sigma, he died, but yes.
So no wonder I like you so much, Chicago, and
tell you. So you have been with Sheryl for years. What is it that she has? What is she doing?
Vision and a love for everybody. It's not a love for one, it's a love for all. And when we're coming together for something like this, it's about calling everybody to the table to work as a family. Every radio host out there, you should be participating in this Souls to the Polls Black Radio Solidarity. We have corporations already putting up money. Debt Stoppers Law Firm here in Atlanta and Chicago put up $25,000 to help recreate this march. Now, this is a firm that's in our community, but it's not from our community, but they're part of our community now. And because Debt Stoppers is doing such wonderful work to help us as a people, they say, look, we're not going to just help. We're gonna be behind you, and we want other corporations to do the same thing. Sign up, come be a part of this, because this isn't to embarrass anybody, call anybody out. It's about a day of all of us coming together and showing love, no matter what race, religion, your background, your economic position. This is about a day of 63 coming together and having some love as Americans.
And you know, I got to shout out Metamucil as well, because I've been working with them for years now. And for them to say, Sheryl, how can we help you? And to build that relationship with Metamucil. I am a paid spokesperson for Metamucil, but I asked them, I said, can you join this noble cause? And it's a lot of corporations that's coming on board. But the other thing we wanted was, if you feel like you want to be a part of this, let's get buses to bring the HBCU students. When you're talking about the black middle class, as far back the 40s, 50s, 60s, and the 70s, and the 80s, the black middle class was coming out from HBCUs. So that's an important part of it, because that's the mission of Pack Rat Foundation for Education.
She'll talk about growing up. Did you ever see your life at this point?
Well, my dad always said you could do anything you put mind to, that the Lord made your brain like it made Bill Gates' brain, so you could do anything you want to do. But I knew that I couldn't do it by myself. So I had to come to Doc Steele, because when you're talking about the SCLC and the history of the original march and how SCLC was founded, we couldn't do it without SCLC.
Right. That's
We
right.
appreciate that.
That's
And to just think about my good friend, Warren. I've been knowing Warren a long time. And when Alex connected us, and then Warren called, I said, oh my Lord. I mean, the icing was on the cake.
was on the cake.
And Cheryl, my family loves you.
Oh, thank you.
How do you not?
How can you not? And my wife always say, I like her. And you had that gray.
The gray wig. Everybody likes the gray wig. But you know what's great about this too is people get to see all different sides of me. When you come to the comedy club, you're going to hear rambunctious Sheryl. Don't bring your mama, don't bring your grandma. If you're saved, bring some Pompeii olive oil, anoint yourself. But also I take that money and invest back into the things that we're trying to do good in the neighborhood. But then when you see me on CBS, I take that money to invest. We're on radio all over the world.
Yes,
we
you
just got on in Pakistan. We're on in Beijing. We're on all over Africa, England, Australia, all over the place. South Korea. For somebody to be on in South Korea, but then we're on 22 HBCU stations, low power stations. We have a 5-day-a-week radio show. Then we had Late Night Cupcaking, which is our Quiet Storm show. And then we have Spiritual Nourishment, our gospel show.
Wow.
And then we have The House Party, which is our hip hop show. So we're just trying to reach all those demographics. But if it wasn't for the talk on CBS, I couldn't do any of this because I wouldn't have the money to fund it.
I mean, talk about trying out. When you first decided you wanted to go for a talk show, that wasn't in the plan.
Not at all. And I tell this story in my comedy show that I thought my friends in comedy was playing on my phone. So I called and I cursed out everybody. Steve Harvey, everybody, Kevin Hart, everybody, because I was like, stop playing on my phone. And Steve was the only person that said, it might be them. Call them back. Called them back, went into the meeting. And this is the power of God working in your life. 4 days later, really in 48 hours, but it took another day for me to meet with Sharon Osbourne. And in 4 days, I have a job that I've had since season 2. This is our 10th season, winning Emmy Awards, NAACP Awards. That was one of my proudest moments when we won an NAACP Award. We just have the diversity. I don't want people to misunderstand why we love CBS. It is the best place to have the best life with the vision. That's why we're the all-seeing eye. And now that we're Viacom CBS, we can come together and do some good in the neighborhood.
And
We are CBS.
We are CBS.
The one thing I will say about CBS more so than any other network, when you go back and look at this march in 1963, this was the only network that covered the march. That tells you, even way back to 1963, they had the vision and the diversity to care enough about all American people. That's a beautiful thing.
And if you want to learn more about it, just go to blackradiosolidarity.com. You can find out more information about it. But this is not just about black people. At the time that they were trying to put the march together, they couldn't get meeting space. So Jewish organizations rented them meeting space. They want to make us anti-Semitic, and we're not. They want to make us homophobic, and we're not. Bayard Rustin was the strategic planner and strategist. And that's why we're working with A. Philip Randolph Institute. The coalition of the Big Seven will now branch out. Unions were coming together for the cause for good. We are going to defend our democracy one vote at a time. That is the American way.
And to talk about it here means a lot. Hyatt Regency, first place to allow us to
absolutely
have.
We go there all the time.
Yes, that's right.
So we know Atlanta is a spot that needs to be here.
That's
Andy
right.
Young's still here.
Yes.
Dr. Lowry's
Dr.
still
Lowry's
here.
still here.
And see, that's where Dr. Steele comes in to bring that coalition. Everybody that was alive in 63 and at that march. When we're talking about Rita Moreno has already said to me, if you don't let me be a part, I'm going to find you, Sheryl. So we got to find everybody that was alive so people can witness that history. August 2020, we will do it again. We did it in 63, we will do it again.
All right, I know Warren, Sheryl, and I weren't born in 63, but
That's right.
we want to be a part of this.
That's right.
I wasn't born in 63.
All right, guys, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
We'll be right back.